Hi, welcome to Innovation Pathways, Solving the Hard Problem. My name is Bram Moreinis. I'm a teacher at Springfield right now, but my web company is called Greenfield Digital. And I'm hoping that you're either implementing an information pathway and like a little help, or that you're going to get a planning grant and would like to see a model that might be useful to you next year. The hard problem of innovation pathways is that you're running this in a traditional high school, but you're trying to run a vocational program. Vocational programs are designed for work-based learning experiences, but traditional high schools are not. You need to find places where an intern can do remote work and be of use. Here is a program I found where there's these remote internships with infinite project opportunities, but they're just for college students. For the information sector employers, I don't know that they are going to trust data processing or data communication to high schoolers who aren't that good about writing clearly or making sure that all your I's are dotted and T's crossed, and who are distracted by their social media. Being of use is the question. I mean, you can pretend that you've got an intern that's useful, but to actually have one useful, you have to give them stuff they can do that's useful. This is a big page from Deci on what makes a good remote internship, and I just include this here for you to be able to click on it. But the basic points are that you have online learning for workplace skills, virtual work on internships or capstones, that's one of the hard pieces, and then building remote relationships is the other hard piece. So you have to imagine an employer that's got time to spend building relationships with students while the students are in the classroom. How do we do that? So I think we're focused on producing and distributing information and cultural products. That's the stuff that I think high school students are good at because they know how to find and evaluate information and cultural products because they're on the web and on social media all the time. So the roles that occur to me that you'd want to have a high school student because of their experience for is a web or app designer because they know what those things should look like, and a social media intern because they know how to work on social media. Now, what would be really awesome is if the students could choose a project that they're interested in, and if they could be given industry tools and work patterns to learn how to be a part of a team in an entry-level position in an IT firm. I have a model that can do that. So this website, greenfielddigital.com, is how we get clients for our free web clinic. And the purpose of this website is to teach people what we do and provides case studies that show what kind of things we're able to provide for them. This is the course that I've designed. I've run it in 4 different places. It's a year-long course, but this year I compressed it into a semester. I used to be a web developer for a living. I brought a bunch of my students that I'd trained in school, and we formed a company called Game Face Web Design and ran it for 6 years. So I have some real-world experience getting clients and taking care of them. This diagram on the left is an Enneagram. You may have heard about the personality Enneagram, but it arises from an older one that talks about self-renewing processes. And that's what we have for the internship model that I'm working on. We prospect for leads with case studies. We ask our leads to complete a free consult form so that we can get a sense of whether they qualify for working with us. Those that do qualify, we invite into discovery meetings. We develop a scope of work, and then we contract with them. Now, they're not going to have to pay anything. We're going to make a website for them. And if they want it, they can have it. And if they don't have to take it. We host for them temporarily. Ultimately, they take over hosting if they want to keep it. We create a theme, which is a look and feel, or we actually adopt one that's available from WordPress and we tweak it for their branding. We design the site, which are things called information architecture. And then we build it. We add content, or we get content from the client most likely. We make different layouts for the most important pages, which are called landing pages. And we add plugins, which are small additional programs that you add onto WordPress to have it do things like an advanced calendar. We do alpha testing, where all the students in the program test each other's websites, and then we do beta testing, where we ask our client to take its staff and its friends to go and try the thing out. And then we present to the client, and we say, do you want this or not? And if the client says that they want it, we train them, and we help them move it to their hosting, which is migrate, and then launch, which is make it available to the public, the new website. And then they generally hire our students to be supporters for the new website for $20 to $25 an hour, which doesn't seem like a lot of money to us, but the kids, it's a good deal. And then we take case studies from the work that we just did and add that to our prospecting so that we can get more clients for the next year. So that's how this is a self-renewing process. The more we do, the more we can share, and then the more clients we can get. This is how we get leads. We go to tech lists and Chamber of Commerce lists, and either people are already asking for WordPress sites, because that happens a lot, or we just say, hey, we've got a ability to take on X number of new free clinic clients, and who wants to come and join us? And people are very happy to fill out the free consult forms, because even if they have a website and they aren't sure they want to move to a new one, the idea of kids helping make a new one and them learning from that, it's interesting to them. And they don't have to do that much work. They just have to meet with us a few times. I was at a professional development, and the folks in Vermont who did these career and technical student organizations, like Skills USA, this was the website that they were using. And I said, I got some kids who could make something better. So our kids made something that looked like this, which is quite a lot better. And now that's a case study that's on the website that when you go and look at it, you can see, gee, these folks are able to do a whole lot for us. And it's free, so why not? So you fill out the pre-consult form, which is if you're a business, one form, and if you're a nonprofit, a different one. I get that in the email, and then I think to myself, which of these folks would make a good client? Are they the right size, etc., for what we're able to do? I also want to know, are the people going to be sane and responsive and clear communicators? That's very important, because sometimes you get people filling out the form and they have no idea who they are or what they want. If they qualify, they're a qualified lead, they're now a prospect. So now I give them to my students and I say, who wants to do this site? After we've picked a prospect, we want to offer them this free consult, which is a discovery meeting where we really find out what it is that they need. And we share what we understand already from the form they filled out and for what research we can do. This is my secret agenda, where I talk about what it is that the prospect wants to find out from us and what it is we want to find out about the prospect. And obviously I'm not talking about web design here, I'm just talking about business. And this clinic model is all about business. It's all about what you can do as an independent contractor or as a group of students contracting together to form a little consulting group, which very often happens. So if you went to this slideshow, you would see that you could click on either one of these things and find out what happens when we get a free consult form and then we analyze it. And this is the kinds of things that it says that the client wants, and then we ask ourselves questions about that, so that when we actually have our discovery meeting, we sound smart, because that's very important. This is a recording of a discovery meeting with one of our clients this year, the Buckland Unified Cemetery Association. And this is my student, Giancarlo. Later on, he was joined by another student, Kevin Lee, to do this project. We take notes about the discovery meeting. What is it the client said that they wanted? And we work those into a scoping document, a scope of work that says, here's what we're going to do for you. We present that to the client, and if the client says, I'd like that, then we get to work. We make sure that we have a domain name for them if they don't have one already. We create a hosting account where the website's going to go, and we install WordPress, because that is our platform of choice. If they want an online catalog just to sell things that way, then we use Squarespace, but otherwise we go with WordPress. The next thing we do for our design process is to ask the client to tell us user stories. Who are the people coming to their site? What are they coming there for? So that we can then say, okay, we imagine that they would hit the home page and say, I would like a banana, and they click on the picture of the banana. There's a page about the quality of the bananas, and there's a button that says, here's how you buy them. You click the button, we accept your money, and then you click, we're done. Maybe there's a place to create an account on the site, maybe not. And then we can track how many people go and do all those things later on when we build the actual site. So the user stories are very important because they inform how we design the site. They inform what are the menus, what's called a sitemap, and they inform what are the layouts on the pages, which we call a wireframe diagram. Here are two students presenting two different wireframe diagrams for a website. Then we have to pick the theme, which is the look and feel of the site. And there's a lot of themes in WordPress. Some are free, some cost a little money. The ones that cost a little money are more powerful, and they also get updated every year. So we tend to go with the paid versions, like $50 to $80 a year. The client buys the theme, and we download it, and we upload it to the website and install it. Now the next step, when we've got the theme and we've got the information architecture, which is the menu on the top and the layouts of the pages, now we start developing the site, which is all the content and functionality that's on it. So we build the home page. What are the things that you're going to see on the home page? What will it look like when you're on a mobile device versus on a desktop device? And when we're done building everything, we present it as a draft to the client for beta feedback. This is a recording of the presentation to Bucca Cemetery where you have Kevin and Giancarlo and you have different members of the client staff and me. Now, this was the semester-long project where I didn't get a chance to really train the students. So what you're going to find is that although Kevin is ostensibly leading the meeting, you see me interrupting at a lot of different points where I try to get something happening that's important. If I had a full year with the students, I wouldn't be at the meeting. It would be just them leading it. So it really is much better as a full year program. In fact, it's ideal as a 2-year program. And that's how it was designed for the vocational tech center I used to work at. Now, after this presentation, we make changes to the site, and then when the site is really good, we present it again. Do you want to keep it or not? So no-go almost never happens because we put all this work in and it's usually pretty darn good. But if the clients don't want it, they are still going to provide reference letters to the interns. So the students are going to come away with some kind of a leg up. But if they want to adopt the site, the students are probably going to get hired for $25 an hour. At that point, we plan the launch. How are we going to advertise to the world that you're getting this new website? And these are a whole bunch of different steps. These words aren't going to make sense to you if you're not into the web. But if you are, they'll be quite familiar. Here's a sample testimonial. This is a side job where I went to a conference and saw that this particular community-based organization's website didn't have its SSL working. So if you typed in HTTPS, it would say this site is insecure. And I felt that was really important. So I said, how about if I give one of my students to help you guys with this? And the owner of the website said, well, we're thinking of leaving this platform anyway because I don't really understand how to edit WordPress well. And I said, well, that's fine. I've got students who can take care of that. So the student met with the executive director, showed her how to edit WordPress. She said, okay, that's good. We're not going to abandon the platform. We're going to have you work with us over the summer. So now that student's going to get paid, which is really great. At the end of the whole process, about a week left, we do a bunch of evaluations. The students evaluate themselves. They evaluate the teams that they worked on because generally we have them in teams. They evaluate the website that they did, they evaluate the process they went through, and they evaluate the program so that every year we can improve the program. If you watch this one, it's a student looking back on the program and the website process that she did to recreate a website for an auto sales company, which ended up hiring her for their office. We'll create a new case study from all of this for a website. This one, as you see, isn't quite done. We still have the filler text to get more clients. And that's how we work our project. Again, if you're interested in trying something like this, here's the link to this presentation. Here's my email. Please reach out to me. Thank you very much for your time.